Lots of new faces here since I was active. What's your why?
Way back when my why was my kid and raising her. We invested in real estate and had a small business. The kid grew up, the investments paid for her education.
She has since moved to Hollywood and is actively pursuing her dream. Even though we had some bumps in the road, overall our strategies and planning worked. Now I'm in a different phase in my life and we travel a lot more often and explore more
Still
places.
doing REI and redirecting business interests. Also reading. I'm always curious about why others get involved in entrepreneurship. What is your
Hi
why?
there. My backstory is that I was married, and mainly spent the last 11-ish years raising my kids.
I have dabbled a little bit as a makeup consultant and have appeared in a few really small commercials. But just here and there. Nothing sustainable or big dollar.
Went through a divorce last year, and now at the point where my kids are starting to get older, spending more time with sports and friends, and I need a new challenge.
Financially, I'm comfortable from the settlement, but it won't last forever. I have no desire to do the 9-to-5 thing. I believe I was meant for more. A lot more. So here I am. Nice to meet you as well. Sent from my iPhone using
We are
Tape It
gifted
Off.
a few decades in our
A
life.
few measly decades. The question isn't why I, or anyone else for that matter, wouldn't work hard to escape the societal prison we find ourselves in. No. The question is why
My
wouldn't
why has
we?
many layers, but the strongest is that my single driver of happiness is autonomy. Having someone tell me what to do gives me anxiety literally. I'm now medicated for it because it was giving me chest pain. My singular focus is creating an offering that gives me freedom.
A member from Ancient Times, 2007.
Was still in my mid-20s back then, about to quit my job to go to a crappy art school. My why, to make enough money so that I can solve many of life's problems, and to provide for my parents, earn enough to attract women.
LOL. I imagine some of our members were in elementary or middle school when this forum began.
It is cool to see it has grown from where it began, but that first year of Fastlane posts were magical. I learned so much from all these new friends on the interwebs back in the dark
My why
ages.
is twofold. 1. I want to provide financial security for my family. For now that's my parents and siblings. 2.
I want to have the freedom to life where I want, how I want, and money plays a big part in that. Ultimately, I guess for most people their whys will shift or change a little bit throughout their lives, but money as a resource to fulfill or help with your whys is a constant.
One word: freedom. Freedom from bosses, freedom from government, freedom from media indoctrination, freedom from financial straitjackets. Freedom to pursue what's important to me, not what society says be important. Nice to see you,
My
Rich.
why is financial independence. I'm 19 years old and I just don't see myself in at 7:30 in the morning.
I've been caught up in it a few times since I got to get my college classes at 8 o'clock, and to me that's just disgusting. When I graduate in 2.5 years, I want to have a viable business that's going to allow me to sleep through a traffic rut and grab a coffee at the center of Zagreb, Croatia without any hassles in the traffic. Silly, isn't it? But definitely keeps me going. Thankless jobs. I hate being told what to do. I hate being underappreciated and being a cog. No control over my future. I mean, really, you don't have any in the slow lane. Well, that's been my experience. Freedom from trading 5 for 2. A whole bunch of freedom really, and I find it more interesting. Great to see you. I was wondering where you went. Still remember my first year around here, when I was running around posting shit like a one-track-nera. You told me to lay off the posting and do something better. Took me some time, but I did. I'm now working on freelancing, with plenty of projects to write, foreign markets to learn about. Really appreciate the time you took to call me out. As for my why, back then, I just wanted to find a way to help me get rich quickly, to take myself and my girl out of the blasted system of education and jobs. Now, I have come to understand that Fastlane and Unscription is simply a bigger picture of how jobs and education are run. It's not that having a 9-to-5 or a college degree are evil. It's just that they are means to supply enterprises with the talented needs to produce great products and services.
If I and my girl want more that the system can't give, We need to make our own business systems, and do some things differently than the regular folks.
And that needs learning and improvements. In other words, I'm in the fast lane to prioritize learning and improvement over just taking the money and running away from the script. Lol.
I also hope to impart what I picked up to my girl, as I'm tired of hearing about the boy practices of laying chicks and some other sidewalk dating rubbish.
I need to provide value to my girl, that changes her life.
I wasn't sure you would ever understand. Glad you stuck it out and are making the changes. Good luck on your project.
Thank you for asking this. It's so easy to get bogged down with the hard middle stuff and forget about the end goal. My why is to have more time with my kids, to homeschool them if possible.
It seems counterintuitive because owning a business takes up a crapload of time, but at least it's time spent moving towards
Since
that goal.
joining the forum, I've tripled my income at my small service-based business and started a new online marketing venture, learning at night and on the weekends. I have one client so far. On one hand, I feel like such a pause for not moving faster.
On the other, at least I have been going forward. Anywho, welcome back to the forum, dude. It's always encouraging to have the heavy hitters care about the newbies.
To spend time with my family, and do all the things with them that humans should do.
I have been amazingly lucky to be home every single day with my daughter, who is now almost 8 months old.
I look at the other parents who are in our maternity classes together, and the dads spend almost no time with their child due to their demanding jobs, and they are terrified to do anything of any real responsibility with them. I get to spend all day with my daughter, and it has been amazing. She has no idea, this is just going to be normal for her as she grows up.
I wouldn't trade this for anything. I have been to every single doctor's appointment, every checkup, every
I have missed
adventure.
nothing. As she grows, I don't want to miss anything either. We were at a friend's house and he is a paramedic. He went and grabbed his work belt to show me, and his little boy, who is almost 3, almost started to cry and says, "Don't go work, Daddy."
I don't ever want this to be me. And being able to eventually live anywhere in the world I want, drive any car I want, fly in any plane I want, go on any boat I want, and eat anything I want, at any time that I want, will also be a nice touch.
My why actually started with dentistry. My husband has a few broken teeth and a few missing teeth, gum disease, bone loss, etc.
In other words, he needs a lot of dental work. All I wanted to do was be able to afford to get my husband's teeth
I think that
fixed.
was the stimulus that freed me from thinking that I should just be content with the money we had. I realized, this is a legitimate thing for me to pursue, and if I can't afford it, then I need to raise my income.
I am an intelligent, creative adult, I have a brain, and I have choices. So what do I need to do to make more money so we can afford this? Still haven't gotten there.
But after that kicked my brain into gear, wondering, how can I make it so I can afford this? I later 10x'd my goals. Instead of just saying, I need to raise an extra $15,000 for dental work, I'm looking at how I can create a system that will raise an extra $15,000 a month. This is a beautiful post. I hear you. I've been to all of our kids' Irish dance exhibitions on St. Patrick's Day in their primary school. I do the school runs in the morning, and the homeworks and dinners with them when they get home at 2:30 p.m. I play outside with them till the cars come home just after 5 p.m. and we go indoors because the road gets too busy. I've taken all 3 of my sons to hurling camp this week, and been there early to watch each of them before it finishes at 2 p.m. I'm less interested in building a massive fortune to leave them, than making sure they grow up. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this game of business. I love the struggle. I love the process. I love trying to get over, around, or straight through the problems in front of me. I love that I'm building the business I want, how I want, and that I'm not following anyone else's blueprint.
I don't take orders well.
Haha. There's so much cool stuff I want to do in my business. Create and sell courses online, teach digital marketing to local youngsters and get them helping local businesses, build some plugins and launch some SaaS products, grow a paid email newsletter, write some books maybe. Get my head round Facebook and YouTube channels, maybe even Udemy, build info seeker funnels for stuff where I am not the subject matter expert, etc., etc., etc. I get paid to do all this cool stuff.
Pinch me quick. I even enjoy the constant struggle to overcome procrastination, perfectionism, and shiny object syndrome, and keep chipping away, every single day. But at the end of the day,
I have to be the man I want my sons to grow up to be. I have to become fully. I have to figure all this stuff out, otherwise I'll leave it up to my sons to do so.
Plus some. I am building a business focused on fighting aging. I don't want to make people immortal. I want to help them, and myself, live healthier for longer.
I saw too many loved ones suffer through the final decades of their lives not being able to enjoy the things they really wanted to. I want to fix that. Aging well can solve many social issues.
Reducing the cost of healthcare for older people alone will dramatically impact our society in an extremely positive way. I want to be a part of that.
Where's the video of the guy who wants to get those circulation improvement machines into every city in the world?
Agree with all of these except the second one. I don't think that's ever possible in any country unless one is exempted from paying any form of taxes and is above the country's laws.
I don't have a why, it's just in me. Personally, I always have to be working, selling, hustling, grinding. I don't have a reason
I'm
for
very
it.
comfortable financially, but my genetics tell me to keep moving. If you're not working on something, you're working on nothing, which means you're living on what you already made. That's not good.
Change lives every day. My why is the freedom to be able to do that.
I do remember your username back when you were a moderator.
Good to see you back. Hard to believe I joined this forum 7 years ago when I was 20. My why is freedom from jobs, bosses,
I
and
want
poverty.
to master the game of business and economics so I can be generous to other people. I believe business and economics is governed by first principles that can be learned and taught and which can be used to arrive at complex insights and opportunities that are worth taking a bet or gamble on. As we all know, it's a cold, heartless economic system out
Nothing
there.
is free and generosity is rare. You have to strive to be valuable to a market.
I want to master the game, then turn around and be generous. I did not start to make money until I started reassessing the principles in my mind causing wrong decisions and insights in business. One of the reasons failure is important because it sparks a reassessment of principles in your mind.
Am I really the first one to mention supervillainy? Well,
Yes, Tarkus taught you better. Capitalize your sentences.
I
Sheesh.
think has designs on supervillainy.
I suspect I'm like this too. When our kids are all grown up and when I've a few money in the bank, I'll still be moving. I like doing stuff. I like helping people.
There's always more people in the world that can be helped. There's always more kids being scripted who could be helped. It's like the old coach down at the hurling camp I was at this week. He's apparently been saying for years that he'll retire next year. I see how much he loves coaching the littlest kids. I also imagine he thinks about the little kids to come, and how he wants them to get the best start. Damn it. Always manages to say in a couple of lines what takes me a couple of pages. A good question to ask yourself is, if money was no object, then what work would I be doing? So far this is my answer. I'm just tired of wasting my life on 11 to 6 job where I'm really working only 2 to 4 hours a day for the most time. Can do better than that. Long why would be to build a business that would help other people with their businesses and maybe someday would be able to create a product that would somehow help even more people. But that's more how. Why? To gain freedom both in time and finances for my family and help even more people on their road to freedom.
It's good to see someone who is a member of this forum from such a long time. It's really incredible. In 2007 I was a student, and in 2008 after completing my MBA I got a job.
But in the first few months, I understood that life is not meant to be lived like that. So with the help of my father and my family, I launched my first B&M business in 2011 and got freedom from 9 to 5.
So my whys are, 1. To provide my family and loved ones with the best in the world. 2. To enjoy the luxuries of life while I am in good health and perfect senses. 3. To realize my full potential.
To understand why I am here. How could I contribute towards the betterment of society? 4. To get the strength of exercising my choice whenever and whatever I want.
My why comes from a place of thankfulness. I am blessed with the propensity to conduct business. I can't even believe that just taking all of this one day at a time has allowed me to be a part of the things I am. This is what I was made for.
Anything less than the perpetual exiting my comfort zone in support of continuous advancement is not living up to what I believe is my full potential. Benjamin Franklin said most people die at 25, we just don't bury them until they are 70. Solomon in the book of Proverbs said without vision, the people perish. We all know someone that has tossed vision away for television and alcohol, tossed ambition away for what is comfortable. Young people in their 30s and 40s giving up. The people who won't even look for a better job, let alone start a business. The people who never leave their home country their entire lives.
A safe existence that lands them in a subsidized nursing home waiting a few miserable years to fully die. We are surrounded by death of potential. Death of what could have been. We are all born and subsequently led into a purpose.
We have skills and interests. We are all different.
I believe that we all have something to give that is bigger than us. To do this, we have to keep pushing the envelope. Keep saying
Make
yes.
your comfort zone a lot bigger. Thankfulness precedes use, not complacency.
In the process, at least in terms of business, I will have provided value to countless customers, income to countless employees, returns to investors and partners, and donations to countless charitable causes. Finally, I can sow into the next generation and build people up to do the same. Building something bigger than them.
Glad to have you back here. Fun fact, Runim was the first forum member I ever met in person. Awesome guy. He convinced me to go to Beer and Pancakes in Phoenix,
which was the name of the unofficial summit at the time. Another fun fact. At that time, 8 years ago or so, meeting someone from an internet forum was outside of my comfort zone.
I remember that meeting in SW Houston. Good to hear from you.
I'm not suggesting not to pay taxes, licenses and all other government BS. They are necessary evils.
Do what is required, and that is it. I view the government like the dentist. The more you take care of your teeth, floss, and brush, the less you need to. You see him. Well said. Featured post plus.
Thanks MJ. Good to be back. I have gotten lazy and let things cruise. Time to get back to the
Joke's
hustle.
on you. I was in kindergarten. The thing I'm working on right now is setting myself free. With that freedom achieved, long term I want to help as many people as I can and make a positive impact on the world.
Meaningful work. I used to care about cars, houses and such, but while I still like them, they do not matter to me no more. I don't really care about what car I will drive no more. I don't have anything to prove to anyone. They will be the background of my life, not the substance. This hits very close to home. I can't wait until I can afford to get my mum major dental work done. She's a beautiful woman with a very bad set of teeth due to an incompetent doctor. I want her to be able to laugh in public without hiding her mouth. What a post. Hi, my why is simple and rather large: to live. I believe the sidewalk people are not living their life. I feel empty inside when I go to work from 9 to 5 to earn my weeks of vacations. It's depressing, yet some people never question that lifestyle. I want to live, and I want to live not fully. Just watch people that made it with envy, jealousy and hatred like everyone else seems to be doing. You cannot live if you do not have a purpose. And my purpose certainly isn't to get that promotion or to retire after 35 years of shitty mental conditions, even though I'm in a golden cage right now.
My why has changed multiple times over the last 10 or so years that I've been an entrepreneur. My why used to be to have enough money to pay the bills.
That's why I started. I had to have some more income or go and get another job. Then my why changed to being able to work less hours at a job and more hours at home so I could see my wife and new baby more often.
5 to 7 years ago, don't remember exactly. Lol, I quit my last normal job and my why became to try and build an empire. 3 years ago I moved cross country to Arizona.
I hired someone to run the day-to-day operations of the business not long after, and my why became enjoying this beautiful state with my little kids and my wife. I decided I didn't want an empire business right now.
I want to work a few hours a week and spend the rest of the time by the pool. Every day when my oldest gets home from school at 2:30 we all go swimming.
During the summertime we all hop in the pool at least 2 times a day, if not 3. My why for the foreseeable future is to be able to spend as much time as possible with my family. When they grow up, maybe I'll build that empire.
I was the giddy kid who had just conquered the hardest course program his school offered and gallivanted into what was described to me as a completely open and beautiful, rewarding field of opportunity. Barely 2 months into my first job, critical IT infrastructure, working 12-hour days where the boss would get testy if you tried to take your federally allotted 15-minute breaks, and dealing with bureaucratic stops and lurches that would make a Soviet Party member weep with joy. I realized that the script was complete bullshit and that someone was trying to make me the stopgap cog in their machine, that they wanted me to sit at a desk, sacrificing days of my life to carry their failures like Atlas himself until I was old and decrepit and ready to keel over and die. At that point I started listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast and poking around with Chris Gilb and Seth Godin books because I knew I could do something that will provide value to others the way I did at a job but be infinitely more rewarding and impactful. I had my when they tried to put me on night shift still 12s. This due to the night shift staff having nervous breakdowns and quitting, a frequent occurrence while I was going to a night school program out of pocket, and promptly left. I took 2 months for myself to complete school and poke around with pod merch didn't pan out, and took a smoother, less demanding position elsewhere that has a better mission I can toil under for the time being. I'm currently playing around with a lot of ideas like most entrepreneurs, but I'm getting ready to take the leap. And I think I'd be perfectly willing to quit this job to do that.
Hate traffic. I love to have time to think, read and learn new stuff to help my family, which for the most part I sustain physically. I'm a magnet to girls, yet they don't take me seriously due to my current lifestyle.
I live and spend as if I were a college student. If I ever have kids, I don't want them to struggle the way I or my parents have. I don't want to bring wage slaves to this world. I don't want massive
Just enough
wealth.
to live comfortably and be able to support those around me. Enough not to have to sell my time to soul-consuming jobs.
Couldn't have said it better.
Prime Periwinkle unlocks achievement. Got the obscure reference.
Welcome back, good friend.
My why is to be able to use the restroom whenever I want. Also, entrepreneurship opened my eyes to everything.
Used to think it was just about business, but it taught me about mindset, self-control, where to put your happiness, the 3 F's, suppressing emotions, value, financial education, and much more.
Lamau. Haha. Send your flattery via Rep++.
I was always a dreamer. Being a kid, I visioned many things. Creating a remote-controlled skates. Building something through which we can walk on air. Seeing a similar age kids who not able to have foods, I thought of growing up and earning loads of money to help them. I even built things as a kid.
Created poison for rat using roadside plants. Created low-cost bow and arrow with aim function. Flew a small kid bus with motors. Visioned to have a library of mine. Every day, me, sitting on a rocking chair under a sunset and reading books to learn and explore the world of history, science, philosophy, mystery, universe, magic, religion, anything else.
To understand what am I? Why am I born? Why is this world? What's the purpose? Why pain? Why happiness? I visioned to be an inventor. To be known as someone who made a good impact in this world. Then around 2009 I learned about internet. I was 16 old. It was magic for me. A real one. I explored. I become fascinated. My craving became big. My vision became bigger. My dreams got possibilities. I started learning. I learned about Google. I thought of creating something to compete with Google. Don't laugh. Then I entered college. Computer science. To make my dream reality. But, something happened. Something started creeping inside me. Script. Something started leaving me. My visions. Something was my dreams or me. I became lost. My thoughts became something which was not mine. And I knew that. I felt that. But was not able to change. Then I graduated. I joined a job. 2 months. That's all it took for me to understand. This is not my life. This is not what I want. But, as usual, I was not able to do anything. My why is bringing back my real self.
To bring back my visions, my dreams. To get the freedom and control to dare to think to compete with Google, even if it's joke. I died before 25. I am 25 now. And 25 will be the age I will be awakened. I was. Now again want to be my why to get my real me and achieve freedom. Story ends. I love this question because I take great pride in the fact that I am sitting here answering it. My why is no small thing. My whole life I haven't ever had the privilege or luxury of being in a position where I could worry about helping anyone but myself.
I've been trying to survive the whole time and I got sick of it.
I got sick of it some time back. but now I am ready to do something about it. To best explain it, I have to share a bit of my life story, so bear with me. I was born to an alcoholic father, a damaged man who only acts out of self-interest. My mother, who mostly raised my sister and I, has battled with depression this whole time, resulting in days at a time where she couldn't get out of bed while my sister and I went to school hungry. Just as I had reached high school at the age of 12, my mom got a new
couple
partner.
of years later we all moved in together in a nearby
This
neighborhood.
stabilized life for some time, enough for me to get through high school. The year I completed high school, my sister was molested by the very man who took us in.
The night it happened, we ran through the street in our pajamas to my girlfriend's house at the time for help. When we arrived, her father answered the door to let us in and we called the police from there.
As a result of all that, my mum took my sister and moved town, leaving me at 17 to start looking after myself. After this event, it gave my girlfriend the courage to confide in me that her father, the one who had answered the door that night, had molested her and her sister when they were much younger.
I then supported her through that situation, which really took its toll. Finally, 4 years later, at 21 years old, it was all wrapped up and I could start to get on with my life.
I got an apprenticeship as an electrician and began working. I had been bricklaying and concreting while everything else was unfolding, but now I was going to get a qualification. Unfortunately, all of the repressed issues from my life leading up to that point were beginning to catch up with me because I finally had time to catch my breath. I ended up splitting up with my girlfriend and living out of my car while
I
going
would
to work.
pretend to everyone that I was doing fine and
At
all
work,
was well.
I would tell my bosses I had to buy my lunch, so I would drive around the corner and sit there for half an hour before coming back because I had no money. I spent it all on petrol and drinking on the weekend to run from my issues. One day I decided I would actually go and get something to eat for lunch.
McDonald's was running a promotion at the time.
A double beef and cheese was only
So
$1.
I went to the car park and got out, opened the doors and started rummaging through all the rubbish to try find $1. It was a couple of 20-cent pieces and the rest were 5 and 10-cent coins. It came to 95. Now I knew damn well that I could bullshit my way out of that last 5 to the checkout worker, but that 5 was a tipping point.
It was the straw that broke the camel's back.
I broke down. I couldn't
It
move.
felt as if I was being punished by God for merely existing for 22 years and I couldn't take it anymore. After a bit, I pulled myself together and I decided to go back to work hungry and use that as motivation to do something about it. Unfortunately, my mental vulnerability mixed with a willing to do whatever it took to start thriving rather than constantly just trying to survive culminated in me making a poor choice.
I went down the path of crime. I started selling ecstasy. Becoming an ecstasy dealer ticked a lot of boxes for me at the time. Before that, I was a nobody and a nothing that lacked everything apart from insecurity. Being a dealer gave me validation from girls that previously wouldn't have noticed me. All of a sudden there were guys lining up to shake my hand and buy me a drink. I didn't have to worry about lines to get into clubs or how much money I had. I felt like a king. This went on for a few years, but as it always goes with the going up, there is always the coming down. Little did I know that I had become the focus point of an undercover operation over a period of 5 months. I was charged with trafficking a large commercial quantity of MDMA and ended up getting a sentence of 4 years and 6 months with a minimum to serve of 2 years and 9 months before I was eligible for parole. On December 13th last year I completed the 2 years and 9 months, which is 1002 days. In that time I read a fair few books, 2 of which were
Another very notable book that helped me change my way of thinking was Man's Search for Meaning by Dr. Viktor Frankl.
The best lesson learned from that book was the power of taking responsibility of your actions and concentrating on what you can do rather than trying to influence external factors. I used that 1002 days to instill good habits and beliefs in myself that have sent me on a trajectory I never would have had the chance of heading on had I not ended up where I was.
It really was the best thing that happened to me. I am now signed up to mentor other prisoners who are reintegrating back into the community and looking to start public speaking to share my story and hopefully help others learn from my mistakes. I am still only 28 and I am moving into the world of business now, which is incredibly exciting for me. It feels great to get all this out, but I guess I need to be able to summarize my why in the future. So here it goes. My why is to empower myself with the resources and ability to give others the wisdom and resources to be able to act in the best interest of themselves and their community as a whole. Wish me luck. But between you and I'm going to make my own, because there is so much more to life than 9 to 5.
God gave us this beautiful earth to explore, not to stuck in a cubicle whole damn life. Having sense of freedom to do what we want, when we want and how much we want is something we all should strive for. And after we reach that state, it's time to spread that mindset to others as much as possible.
Did you know that has accomplished more than most of us on this forum ever will? Let me tell you how. Let it be a light to influence your why.
Pick the path less traveled. His impact is incalculable. The ripple effect of his why is immeasurable by you and I, because we can count the immediate circle, but not the future generations.
Not the mothers and fathers and grandparents and siblings and children and children's children to the 7th generation after us. You see, Runum owned houses. Runum owned product businesses.
Runum was an entrepreneur before I was. Runum understands how to make yourself, but Runum's why runs deeper than his modesty. You see, he selected to do what you and I haven't.
He went intentionally into the fire to bring people out of it. Runum is a school teacher, but not just an ordinary extraordinary school teacher.
He picked the hardest school he could find. He picked the toughest, roughest school he could find. He picked the one most ordinary teachers might have passed on.
And he did it intentionally. Part of his why is to reach the least of us. The hard cases.
The underserved. The undervalued. Day after day as the calendar clicks by, he pours himself into them.
He teaches them. He molds them, and he gives them hope. He wears crazy Hawaiian shirts because it brings them a smile, and when they smile he knows he can win.
The kids love him, and he invests in their futures. When people come here asking who has the largest bank account, they might just skip by Runum, and they'd be making a fatal decision, because Runum is worth more than me and MJ and most of the famous posters here combined. You're just counting wrong.
You are counting dollars. Runum's investment has been in something different, and his success outpaces mine by a factor of 100 to 1. You want to learn about scale? Try counting the scaling effect of changing the next generation. Impact incalculable.
One life saved from the garbage heap is worth more than all the products I will ever sell combined. I am proud to know a glimpse of his story, and thrilled that he has chosen to come back here for part of his next chapter. Everyone that reads this at a minimum should have him on their follow list and listen to what he says.
This was posted on LinkedIn this morning by somebody connected to somebody connected to me.
Great reminder of why we are doing what we're
doing
here.
Was already a fan but didn't know any of this, and I'm blown away. Wow. So much respect.
The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Henry David Thoreau. This is what drives me. I don't want that for my family. Road raging minivan driving dads.
Over-involved and self-important soccer moms. All of them mad at their own choices, not me, but completely unaware of it. My family is my why. The time I get to spend with them is so precious.
I've lost 2 friends in the past several years who died suddenly, also. It just sharpens my resolve to use my time the way I want to use it with those I love.
Henry David Thoreau is my favorite philosopher.
Thank you so much for starting this thread. I have really enjoyed reading what makes everyone strive to be their best. If anything, knowing how great everyone is and how amazing their motives are, it really pushes me to up my game.
The more we all succeed, the more the planet and everyone around us succeeds. This beautiful world will be even more beautiful with a community like this doing as well as we can all possibly be doing.
Like Dave mentioned, it is not just the size of our bank accounts, but how we influence those around us for the better.
Also to outfit a sweet lab or workshop where I can play and make dope shit. Also to eat whatever I want whenever I want. Yes, I'll have 3 pounds of scallops for lunch please, and if you look at me like that again you're fired. Just kidding. Here's $100. And more.
I have been trying to walk the slow lane for a long time, and have been quite successful at it. I had all the talent, but little discipline. Also, my family by the standards of my home country was relatively well off, so I have never had any external pressure to excel except for my parents' expectations.
The Asian trap of sorts. However, I have always been rebellious, and around high school and freshman uni years concerned myself much more with drinking and sex than anything else.
The problem is, despite all hangovers and poor discipline, my academic performance was stunning, always on top of class and praised by profs, etc. In retrospect, This
Because
was
of
awful.
natural talent I felt no pressure to do something about my life, because I have always had a ready excuse: I am smart, I got results, I am popular with ladies, parents are proud and so on. But I felt deeply unsatisfied nonetheless.
I have been writing fiction and essays since early teens, and as I studied psychology more, I became deeply interested in it. Now I understand what the problem was. I had no FCK this all moment. And MJ has rightly noticed that WRO the FDA moment nothing happens. Then I had it. Is to create a private school in my home country where youngsters will be able to get education that I create, together with other professionals. A kind of real education, not the script. Now I have a blog and am writing a book, in parallel exploring some other things, creating a money system. I am unbelievably grateful to MJ for both of his books. He is right, you need to impact lives. That is the purpose of the whole thing. Thank you to all the people. Wow. That's some first post. Welcome to the forum, my friend. What MJ said. I suspect you won't need any luck. It's an amazing thing to watch when someone's why is bigger than themselves. Oh boys. I supported mission-critical IT infrastructure for 15 years. I can't say I miss the pager going off.
This might sound like I'm lazy, and perhaps I am. But the main current reason the past one was different, why I can't imagine any other lifestyle than Fastlane, is because I love to have an open schedule. I absolutely abhor when my day is filled with activities.
I hate running from one place to another or attending one task after
One of the
another.
worst types of stress for me is the stress of being in a hurry. I absolutely love that I can live more slowly than the average Joe.
I'm yet to learn how to truly slow down and savor every moment, but I'm slowly See what I did there?
Getting closer to it.
The most beautiful thing about it is that when you learn how to live more peacefully, the simplest pleasures mean the world to you.
You can actually notice them and appreciate them as a key contributor to your happiness and fulfillment instead of constantly seeking new stimuli just to feel alive. Note that I have nothing against those who do it. Some people need high energy and constant stress to feel good. I do work, but I like to work on my own terms, early in the morning, and usually no more than 2 to 3 hours of solid, focused work worth more than 8 hours of pretending to work.
Sometimes I have busier days, but I try my best not to have more than 2 such days in a row, as they have a big negative impact on my mental health. Fastlane allows me to live more slowly, be more relaxed, and I like to think that even if on a very small scale, I can perhaps transmit some of these feelings to the world around me.
Thank you, MJ. I plan on making some ripples, so I needed a grand entry.
I love this. I'd also like to build a business so I can slow down and free up time. I went for a run this morning at 9:30 a.m. The roads were quiet, and there was barely anyone about.
Thank you for the kind and eloquent words, Dave. Most days with my kids are great, but some days are a challenge. Kind words smooth over the bumps in the road. It's great to be back.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Yes, and the freedom to make decisions instead of follow orders. I think about this a lot.
I have discussed writing with my daughter and property investments with my son and finances with both of them.
I would be the epitome of a hypocrite to just keep talking, and I didn't really understand what I was doing with all the inaction until I read. And this past summer, right before I joined this forum. Great quote. And life is
We don't
short.
even know that we have 20 years. This realization prompted me to take action this year, when I realized that I have been walking into the same office for 15 years.
I love helping people, which is my job, but I think even the people I help will understand that no one wants to spend such a long amount of time in the same 10 square feet of space. I'm ready for a change, and I'm going to do it.
My why is to firstly, pay off all of my parents' farm debt so that they can live comfortably in their retirement.
I want my freedom and to be done with the 9 to 5. When I have finally achieved my freedom, I want to build something that lasts long after I'm gone and that helps as many people
My
as
why
possible.
is simply maximizing my innate potential. Living in a country where the vast majority of adults are unable to live debt-free, I realized from a young age that if I don't do something, I'll literally be like everyone else here.
I live on the island with one of the worst economies, and the lowest minimum wage rate in the Caribbean. Being an entrepreneur here is difficult, but it's worth it. It can be depressing sometimes to read through all the success or failure stories on the forum here, and sometimes I feel envious because the opportunities you guys have seem unlimited, and you have access to so much. But I live in a different part of the world. I'm just happy I can learn from it all and apply it to my own business. Never had much money growing up, and always dreamed of being an internet entrepreneur, even when I barely understood what the internet was. Of all things, can at least get money problems the FCK out the way. I was 7 years old. My response got messed up yesterday because my computer
I meant
froze.
to thank for the quote, and it ties in with what's said about us all have something to give that is bigger than us. One of the events that affected me this year was that one of my good friends passed away this year due
She
to
was
cancer.
an artist, a really, really good artist, but she didn't pursue it. She and I spent some time last summer painting together, and I will treasure that time, but I know, too, how much more she had to give, and we both wasted all of those prior years of being friends by not painting.
I have frequently thought about how glad I am that people pursued their passions instead of staying in
For
jobs.
example, what if J.K. Rowling had remained a secretary or an English
She
teacher?
has certainly impacted way more people by daring to take a chance and pushing that envelope. I'm also glad that didn't just keep driving limos, and then when he figured out the fast lane, he took the time to put it into words to help everyone else.
Like everybody else, I want freedom from the script via fast lane business. I flunked out of college and am questioning my values.
If I have the option of returning to college, do I really want to finish in 3 more years to work a 9-to-5 job as an engineer, making a decent salary of say $75K? Helping a lot of people and making money off that is my way.
And with a lot of money, I can do whatever the FCK I want. Lol, my fast lane business is gonna help a lot of people.
Anything I can do to help with this, I will. There is a program in Colorado known as Dental Lifeline Network that may be a great fit for your husband, and there should be an online link to the program's application.
Encourage him to check it out. My why is because I can be better.
I can provide more for others, be more gracious, create more freedom for loved ones, rescue more animals. I find asking myself why less frequently than asking how to adapt after action towards the why.
This is my why. I am currently working full-time job 9 to 6 and enough to cover my daily expenses. The reason I want to get involved in entrepreneurship is I don't want to stuck in corporate world for the rest of my life. By the time I get older, our value will be decreased.
So I need a backup plan and start my own journey. Although it's not easy, but it's worth to try. In the end will be good as long as I keep
One
consistent.
of the most important things in my life that I'll do is repay my parents. Facing persecution from the CCCR for their religion, they dropped everything and immigrated to the States for a better future.
Not for them, but for their kids. They sacrificed everything in order to provide more opportunity and a better future for. They didn't know English, they got married young, but what they did bring to the States was a hard work ethic.
I can do for my parents is to pay off their mortgage. Unfortunately, I believe my father will be working until the day he can't. Nor does he have a retirement fund.
He's already facing health issues at his age and due to his job. He's already having back issues. I need to make sure that my parents' sacrifices weren't for nothing.
Secondly, I'm doing this for family. My future family. My future children. I want to be able to provide as much as I can to my value and to make sure that they never worry about food being on the table.
As I want to be there for all the moments of my children growing up.
I want to be a faithful, reliable, and supportive father. Next is love. I'm currently in South Korea, but eventually, I'd like to bring my love to the States. We're both young and I haven't been able to receive enough value vouchers to be sure it's the right time to bring her over to America. She'd need to sacrifice everything, learn the language, and come to an entirely new and unfamiliar place.
I'd obviously like to be in a position where I can take care of her and there would be no need to worry and that we can enjoy our lives. And finally, others. I'm happy when I make things that other people use and find useful and or improves their life.
For example, at my Slowlane job as a developer, I developed and automated some processes which allowed us to save time not only for our team members but our clients also love the experience. We have a Slack group of where we post daily, positive members from our clients.
It's a serotonin boost when I was able to positively impact and provide value to someone's life. I don't know exactly what my fast lane will be at this moment, but I know I want to help people and provide as much value as I can. Those are some of the reasons why I'm here and my why.
At this moment, I'm spinning my wheels, action faking. Stuck in that idea phase. I also have some larger ideas I'd like to take at scale but would require that I head back to the States.
I'm torn between leaving my love here and going back to the States for a while or trying to do something else online. Not really sure. But that's my why.
Beautiful post. Repaying my parents was my initial motivation as well, and let me tell you one thing, nothing will fuel you more than
Not a single thing. And nothing will feel better once you accomplish it. You're doing it right.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
I appreciate the reply, and actually you're one of the people I'd love to connect with as well. Or at least have you in my circle. Love your content and experiences. Let's get
My
it.
why is made up of the followings: enjoying financial freedom by creating a business that I am proud of, have the possibility to create products that improves people's life, spend my best time with my future wife and my kids, connect with other dreamers. I love the game of entrepreneurship.
I think that is the only way that you can be like a Spartan warrior
I've been thinking
today.
about this thread for a while now.
It's hard to put my why into words, but here goes. Meanwhile, if I died today at 36, I think my last thoughts would be, well, that was a waste. I'm proud of the charity work I've done, but other than that all I have are regrets of opportunities missed. I've worked fairly hard all my life, saving like crazy for
But
retirement.
after a couple layoffs, I have only 11k in Roth IRA. I've come up with some great ideas or systems or designs that added value for my employers.
But after leaving those companies, I have no assets of my own. I've scrimped and saved on luxuries because I value the security of a hefty savings account.
But after my most recent layoff, I'm eating rice and beans out of necessity instead of thriftiness. I feel like I've done everything right, but I ultimately have nothing to show for it. I want to distill my why down into a motto or something.
But like I said, I am having trouble fully articulating it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for making this thread. Good idea.
I'm in business because what else am I gonna do? Work for someone else? Being under someone else feels like I've got a big fat dick slapped across my face. I've got no choice but to run my own thing. For me it's about doing what I want instead of working all day. My biggest why is being able to go on tour with my band. At the moment that's very difficult to do, and mostly too expensive or risky for little gain. God bless you, brother. This is what life is all about. I'm in the same boat. Want to see my kids grow up and break free from the corporate world. Obtain as much freedom as possible. I'm at the point where I am yet to get started though. My why is because I can, nothing more, nothing less. No one can tell me what I can and can't do. That's up to me to decide and prepare for the ups and downs. If it all goes wrong, we will be back at square one. Working for someone until you get back on track. Let's see if we can retire at a young age, not just hope we can.
Love the attitude.
I want to be filthy rich, just because I can. You only have one life, as cliche as that is. Why would you spend it being normal, slaving away for someone else for some measly pay?
That I want to travel, drive nice cars, live in luxury. I often think I sound like an a-hole for saying that, but it's what I want, so why not try to achieve it?
Building a business and leaving my job is a blessing that I worked towards and feel very grateful for. I could not have done it without support from my family and from the right mentorship from BioPhase. In addition, making a few fast lane friends here who I am really good friends in real life has been a major rock for me
I
mentally.
give all the credit to life's influences and the people who have been kind to me. Yes, I've put in the work and the hours, of course, but so many things had to happen for me to have the work ethic to begin
So
with.
it is difficult to take the credit and say I did this. Honestly, for me it's impossible to say that I did
I
this.
put in the time and the rest was just blessed. Yes, sometimes I get a bit spiritual with this game.
That is why what I preach the most is, how much time are you putting into your business? If you are starting out, it should be multiple hours per day consistently. My why was simple.
Why not? Why not do my best and try all I can to find a way out of the corporate job and live a freedom fast lane lifestyle. I used to go to work from 9 to 6 p.m. I got all the spare time in the
So
evening.
why not use it for something that can blossom into something fantastic? If others can do it, why can't I?
It's not NBA where I need to be a certain height to play. So I can do it. If others can do it successfully, so can I, as long as I choose to invest my energy in it. The only thing I can't control is how long it would take, but I'll be out there swinging the bat at every single shot, no matter how silly I may
What
look.
else is there to do in life besides swinging the bat at the fast lane ball? So there really is no better thing to do than to work on a fast lane in free
Personally,
time.
I want to pursue the arts and it generates little to no money for time
Having
invested.
passive income will allow me to receive an income, and enough free time to spend my hours actually doing what I care about. How I make money don't really matter to me, just so long as I have it and
My why is
freedom.
to clear the debts I've incurred. move to where the sand, sea and sun collide, and pursue the active lifestyle I have come to adore.
Life is short, and none of us knows if we have 1 day or 10,000 days left. I want to emphasize your quote, since it touched a nerve for me.
Taking the kids to the hurling wall on a Wednesday
Riley
afternoon.
will disagree, but I class this as a win for me. The little squeal he lets out as I catch him after the turn, and his giggling face looking over his shoulder as I track him back. That's my why.